Hello again, and thank you for joining me for another live from Ireland episode of the Traveling in Ireland podcast. Now, tonight I am coming to you live from the Killashee Hotel, which is just outside the town of Naas, that's spelled Naas, in County Kildare. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this accommodation and location. But before I do that, I want to give you a travel tip. And that is simply to remember that you're on vacation. And I know that sounds a little like, duh, of course I'm on vacation. I'm in Ireland. But I want to break that down just a little bit more for you. Because, my mom and my daughter left this morning. And I with my mom, because she is a bit older, she has a few small mobility issues, we really had to slow down. And on our final day, what we did was a lot of nothing. I'm going to be honest. We did two small things. We went to the Kilkenny Design Center, because my daughter wanted some non-gaudy gifts for her friends. And then we stopped at the second tallest high cross in Ireland, which we actually kind of happened upon in 2005, I believe, during my husband and my eldest daughter's very first trip to Ireland. And since we were nearby, I wanted to take my mom and my youngest daughter. And it was just spectacular. Always a great stop there at the Moon High Cross. But anyway, my point is that sometimes it's so easy to just go. And you want to see and do everything. And it's easy to forget that this is your vacation. And you should also take some time to relax a bit. So after we did those two quick things, we actually were running really, really early, but we arrived at our hotel. And so like I said, we're at Killashee in Naas, and we arrived early. We had an afternoon tea scheduled for 1:30. We actually did that about 1. Really just spent the time relaxing and enjoying it, not hurrying through it. And just kind of enjoying where we were. The windows looked out over the garden. It was just beautiful. And then we actually went out and walked in the gardens, took a little stroll. My daughter hopped on the cable swing on the playground. But we just kind of wandered and strolled and explored and enjoyed the day without really feeling like we had anything that we had to see or had to do. And then my mom went to the spa. We made a spa appointment for her a couple of days prior, and she went and spent her last afternoon in Ireland pampering herself in the spa. We had a nice dinner at the on-site restaurant, and then, came back, finished packing, and turned in kind of early-ish because they had to be to the airport this morning about 7:30. So it was a nice, relaxed vacation day. And so I just want to remind you that even if Ireland is your once in a lifetime trip, even if there are so many things you want to see and do, don't forget that it is a vacation, and it's okay to take that time to slow down and relax and maybe, pamper yourself or do something that, goes against the see it and do it all in Ireland, and really take the time to enjoy that vacation as well. All right. So I want to talk to you just a little bit before I sign off today about the Killashee Hotel. Now, this is a hotel. It's not new, but new to me, and I'll be honest, it's kind of overshadowed. There's a 5-star hotel not terribly far away that I think gets a lot of attention. But the Killashee is a pretty special little place. It's about 30 minutes from Dublin. Like I said, it's just outside the village of Naas. And I think it could be for the, it could be the perfect spot for a first night in Ireland and a final night in Ireland. And here's why. So you fly over from North America, right? So assuming you're coming from North America or someplace farther away. And you arrive, you've been on a plane far too long. Now, if you've listened to my advice at all, you know that I really don't, um, I don't think it's safe to drive more than 60 or 90 minutes after you land, especially if you're picking up the car, you're jet lagged, it's the first time you've driven on the wrong side of the road, on the wrong side of the car. It's a recipe for an accident. And so the Killashee, depending on traffic, is going to be between 35 and 50 minutes away from the hotel, which I think is pretty ideal. The rooms are very comfortable. The beds are very comfortable. And on site, you have beautiful gardens, so you can get outside and walk. You have a playground if you have the kids along. You have a leisure center with a pool and a gym, and you have the spa. So there's a lot to really recommend staying here the first night. It's a really nice first place to stop. And, bonus, if you want to do a little touring on your way here, you have the Irish National Stud and Gardens, which is absolutely fabulous. It's one of my favorite places to visit. It's not open over the winter, but if you're here spring, summer, fall, love it. It's amazing. The Japanese garden is outstanding. It's also an easy enough spot if you want to visit maybe the Rock of Dunamace in County Laois, or if you want to maybe you want to pop into Dublin, but you don't want to stay in Dublin. Another really good spot, you pick up the car, you take it to one of the DART stations, park it there for a little while, go into Dublin, and then come on out and spend the night in Kildare. Also, like I said, a great spot for a final night. Now, when I took my mom and my daughter into the airport this morning, we left at 6:45 in the morning, and we got there about 7:35. So it took about 50 minutes, and traffic was pretty heavy on the M50. But still, leaving out of Dublin city center, you're still looking at 30 to 40 minutes. So it's not that much further. And like I said, it's a really nice and comfortable stay. Our night last night, we had a family room, could have slept 5 people. It had 2, I don't want to say they were double beds because I think they were queens, but I can't really tell the difference in bed sizes. I'm really bad at sizing beds, unless it's a king, and then you're looking at it going, that's a king. But anyway, it had 2, I want to say they were queens, I really do, and then a twin. So it could have slept 5 people. The room was really nicely sized. It had a little sitting area in it and a very nice bathroom. And then if you're not traveling with kids, the suite I have this evening, it's got this old world charm to it. It has a little sitting room, has a little entry room with an armoire and kind of a dressing table. And then it has a king size bed, which looks very comfortable. I haven't crawled into it yet because I know if I do, I won't get out of it. We've had beautiful meals here. Afternoon tea was just lovely. Our dinner was very good. My daughter had this it was called a mushroom sandwich, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, with these really exotic mushrooms, and she loved it. And breakfast they have a hot and cold buffet, and then you can also order off the menu. So really, the meals are very good. You're going to find something really for everyone. Cereals, yogurts, sandwiches, you name it. Really good burger. I had a burger delivered for room service tonight that was exceptional. Just great Irish beef. So I think that Killashee would be a great option for families, for couples. First night, last night and a great location for exploring if you are wanting to kind of spend some time in the counties of Kildare, Dublin, Wicklow, and Laois. So really a great spot to check out and consider for your trip. So this actually marks the last night of my my week-long tour with Bespoke Excursions. If you remember back to the very first night of it, I worked with Bespoke Excursions on this. And if you go back to the Celtic Coast podcast episode, I think it was 146, but don't quote me on that. You'll just have to look. Bespoke Excursions arranged our car rental, booked our hotels, handled all of our anything we needed bookings for. So it was full service car rental vacation. So you can think of it as a customized tour that includes all your bookings, which is really, really handy if you're the kind of person who knows, I want to drive, I want to, I want to have things taken care of for me, and I want somebody who knows Ireland and can create a trip that fits me. I really enjoyed working with Owen at Bespoke Excursions, and if that is the kind of traveler you are, I highly recommend contacting him, because he did an exceptional job for our week-long trip. My mom and my daughter were just so they loved every minute of it. They loved the accommodations that he chose for us. The car, picking up the car was flawless, and yeah, it just was really nice to have a week where I didn't have to plan it, I didn't have to book it. I just had to say, here's kind of what we're looking for. Let's see what you come up with. And I'm so glad I did. It was great to hand over the planning to somebody else. So again, if you want more information on Bespoke Excursions, do hit the show notes and check it out along with Killashee Hotel. Now, for those of you who sent in questions, I have them, and I am going to be getting back to answering questions, not tomorrow, but in the next 2 weeks. That's what I'll be doing. So if you do have a question, go ahead and send it to me. You can send it to Jody, Jody, at IrelandFamilyVacations.com. Put podcast question in the subject line. And if I can give you a shout out, let me know how you would like me to do that. You want me to give your full name, first name, last initial, first initial, last name? Just tell me and I will give you that shout out when I answer your question. Thanks so much for following along with me for the last 4 weeks. There are 2 left, and I can't wait to take you with me, because on the next 2 weeks, I am circling the island of Ireland. I am going north, I am going west, I am going south, I am coming back up the east. We will make an entire circle in 2 weeks. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, and it's going to be fun. So I hope you'll stick around with me for a couple more weeks. Until tomorrow, slán go fóill.